Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live, or a new metaphor for your toolbox. And yesterday, the metaphor was, and I hope you go back and pick it up on my blog, tokillaminotaur.com, and the metaphor was, don't feed the koi, as you recall. And we were beginning to talk about the pain body that Tollel, a metaphor that Tollel uses for buried pain that rises in situations to feed. And we feed it our awareness, and we feed it our soul, and then it goes back down, and we wonder what the hell happened. Well, our metaphor today is going to be called the turning point. So, the turning point. Now, this is the turning point. As I began to think about this and meditate on it, the turning point is everywhere. Kids in the back seat, on a family drive. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? What are they asking for? They're asking for a turning point to end their suffering. So the turning point is kind of like a metaphor where disorder, chaos, suffering ends. It turns. We all know it's there. The pendulum has to turn. Everything has to turn. The elevator has to come down. Nothing can keep going in the same direction forever. You can't, a rocket ship has to come down. In other words, where's the turning point? So we all know the turning point is there when suffering, pain, dissonance, that's a new word I'm using, I like it, dissonance. Another image, the string theory. Another image is a lab project where you saturate water, where you have a string in it, and you saturate water with sugar, and finally at some turning point, crystals form. You have rock candy. Rock candy. But at some point, the water has to be so saturated that there's a turning point. So this is very evident in all scientific lab, scientific things. The turning point. The turning point. So it really, as you begin to say it over and over again, it's a point we know is there, and we get very frustrated when it doesn't come. Like, we all have memories. I do anyway. I think we all have stories that people in the past tell us, and suddenly they have metaphorical significance. And I had back in the 70s, I knew the sheriff of Prince Edward County. Can't think of his name. But he was a very powerful presence, and he said he was in World War II, and he was a gunner on a ship, and maybe a carrier or something, and the guns were all lined up there, and he was a gunner, and the Japanese torpedo planes were coming, and the gunnery officer saying, "Hold your fire, hold your fire." So you're holding your fire, and this is like the Bunker Hill, hold your fire till you see the whites of their eyes. If you waste your ammunition, so you hold your fire. And he said invariably somebody would go, they couldn't hold it. Right? They couldn't hold it. They couldn't wait for the turning point. You see? They knew it was there, but the pressure was too great. They couldn't wait. They could not wait. Even on YouTube, Facebook, you get these little videos, and the title will say, wait for it. So you're watching somebody walk along, and you wait for it. And then maybe, 2/3 of the way through, or towards the end, there's a surprise. Something happens, and the tension is released. Wait for it, and the waiting creates this tension. And then, and notice that the greater the waiting, the better the tension, the release. the more exuberant, the more the height of the release depends on the length of the waiting. Even sex. Wait for the orgasm. Wait. Bah! You see, it's a turning point. So a turning point is the release of disorder. The turning point is the release of pressure, tension. Release. And release is unity. Okay? So then you can say that the disorder is conflict of incompatible perceptions. There's only unity means one perception that includes all. No conflict. When two people have unity, they both see the same thing. When there's conflict, they're seeing two different realities, and like tomcats, they're going to wow, fight for one to be supreme. You get the idea of what we're working with here? We're trying to, for understanding, this is where the metaphor is such a powerful tool. Because if you really understand a metaphor, you can take that turning point and apply it to everything in your life. So you can understand. And with understanding, you can wait for it. With understanding, you can be patient. With understanding, alert awareness rises. And you become aware. So let's go to Tollel and see what he's saying about that. I almost forgot. Once there is a certain degree of presence, of still and alert attention in human beings' perception. Presence, he's saying, is an alert attention in human beings' perception. They can sense the divine life essence. The one indwelling consciousness or spirit in every creature, every life form. And recognize it as one with their own essence, and so love it as themselves. Now, in his own way, he's describing unity, which is a divine essence in all of us. There is a one essence in all sentient beings that is the same, which means unity. So if you can wait for that, or tap into that, a turning point happens, and what was dissonance, what was disunity, what was disorder, confusion, chaos, negativity, despair, and desperation, what was that, suddenly goes, we're one again. And that one again is going to be a creative idea. Because the other ideas we're having are all divided into two perceptions. My ideas and your ideas. Facebook. I got my idea of what's true and you got your idea. We're going to fight it out until one of us goes home or defriends the other one. You see, duels. The one left standing is the one, you see. So, this idea then of presence is equated with patience. And patience does not mean the tension of wait for it. Well, how much longer do I have to wait? Mike, I can't stand it. I've got to do something. I got to shoot somebody. Now, right there, everything seems to come back to Trump and our current historical condition. So we just had a mass shooter. So I got to stop doing that. It's going to hit on my mic here. So let's put this. Let's put the turning point into context here. And so I'm listening to Morning Joe, and they're talking about, is this the turning point now that Republicans are targets? Will Republicans understand the importance of gun violence because now it's hitting home? Now the pain is their pain. You see, the pain is hitting them. Is that the turning point? Or with Trump, oh, there's a turning point now. The investigation is expanding to include Trump's obstruction of justice. Is that the turning point? Of course, you notice back in the whole history of our association with Trump, the turning point has been expected every day. Oh, when he said, grab your pussy or something, that was the turning point. No. But everybody keeps saying, there's a turning point somewhere. And then say, oh, well, there is no turning point. Trump will go on forever. The elevator will go up forever. It'll never come down. Trump Tower will keep building up high forever. There's no losing. He'll win forever. There's no turning point. And then that becomes, when we get into that, then we become, it's called depression. Despair and depression, you see. But I was just thinking today, we look at these mass shooters, the terrorists included, although they're, our mass shooters are within our own disorder, whereas the terrorists are within a greater disorder of the whole Western civilization. But the act is the same. Random violence that creates intense pain, uncertainty, and disorder. So these acts create disorder. Now then we like to say, well, they're evil. Well, according to Tollel's quote here, this divine essence is within every sentient being, which is included in the terrorist and the shooter. So what if we expand our awareness to say that all sentient beings are being driven towards restoring unity? All sentient beings, all life itself, is driven to create greater unity, greater wholes, greater release of the release of the tension of disorder and complexity. You see, our civilization has gotten so complex that we long for simplicity, which is another word for unity, or single essence, the one, you see. Even the whole Republican movement is a metaphor for seeking simplicity. So they'll say, I want a simple government. It's too complex. Reduce it down to something very simple. Small government means simple government, means simplicity and the unity of American life. It's too complex. And complexity means disorder or the fragmentation of the one into the many, all of which have conflicting voices and special interests. So you get this Babylon of yakety-yak, conflicting interests and rights, and the one is lost, you see. So the drive is to restore the one. But the drive goes in two different directions with the Republicans, the Democrats, the liberals. The liberals want to restore unity by including more, and the Republicans, the right, wants to restore unity by reducing, by getting back down to that simple essence that Tollel was talking about, that is the core of all sentient beings. So is that essence then the one little dot, or is it the whole? It's both. The whole is the cosmos, includes everything. That's the one that includes other, and this is always represented by the goddess. The goddess is the womb that includes all the children, you see. And the Father is always represented by the one. It's the phallic symbol. Washington Monument, number one. The hockey team, number one. The NBA, number one, you see. So unity was distorted by the elimination of the opposite, okay? So this mass shooter in D.C., his And again, I'm not excusing or I'm getting into say, oh, he's not responsible and all that. No. But I'm just expanding the awareness so we can understand and really embody this understanding by Tollel, which is recognizing this presence, this divine life essence, as my own essence and the essence of all life. And so then I can begin to love this essence that is me and is in you as my love. Love means one, not two. So he's talking about that this drive for unity is life itself, you see. However, when this dissonance, the string theory, when the saturation of pain gets to such a degree, when the saturation of the water with sugar gets to a turning point, rock candy appears. In other words, the pain must reach a point where there is no more strategy of one side or the other to restore unity. When all strategies are exhausted, when all means are gone, when you've tried everything. When you tried everything, I can't open that box. That's me. Then my wife comes in and opens it. You see? So, when you tried everything, you call a savior. No, when you tried everything, but you don't. See, here's the thing. Waiting for it, hold your fire, waiting for it, means that you relax in the line. In other words, you're at Walmart or Costco, and you're standing in line. And your goal is to get to that checkout and go get a hot dog. But then there's a screw up at the counter and they got to go run and get a product. So the turning point is when you get to the counter and you go get your hot dog. But now there's an obstruction. So you can feel the irritation. Damn, what's kind of, why I should have gotten in that line. Damn. It's always like this, turning, so this building of pressure, But if you activate still and alert attention, if you activate still and alert attention, which is presence, then you are just present with the tension of waiting in line for the turning point, you see? Instead of identifying with the irritation and saying, when will this, are we there yet? Are we there yet? My God, I've been standing in this line for 20 minutes. I've got to do something. I've got to shoot somebody. I got to go postal. So going postal, the shooter, you see, can't stand the tension of the disorder in society or in his own life, which is both. He can't stand the tension in himself, which is a manifestation of the tension in the pool of society. You see, we're all swimming in this same pool. If there's tension in the pool, we're going to feel the tension. And if there's tension in my particular psyche, the tension in the pool is going to exacerbate the tension in my psyche to a point where I got to do something to end this and restore unity. So I go postal. We don't use that phrase anymore because used to be postal agents were the only ones that went bananas. So this guy that shot up the Republicans went went Bernie. He was a Bernie supporter. So he went Bernie. You see. Usually it's a right-wing guy that goes bananas, Well, this was novel, But you see the point? They can't hold the fire. They can't wait for it. But their act is an act to restore unity, which is the same desire as the awakening of creative love. Except the dissonance, the contradiction of incompatible points of view, which is where we are now with the blue and the red, incompatible realities, where we are with Trump, real news and fake news and real news, which is real. Two incompatible realities are like tomcats fighting to be the one. Now you either become the one by destroying the other view, which was what the shooter did, or you restore unity through a creative act that transcends the saturation of conflicting perspectives, and a single idea is born like rock candy. It's a spontaneous act that restores unity through a new idea. I see, it's so simple. All this complexity is gone. It's very simple. Steve Jobs did that. So the PCs were getting very complex. So he has these he creates these or discovers, he doesn't discover, he creates new products which simplify computer activity by making it more like your own mind, intuitive. Oh, everything flows together so easy. The whole thing is intuitive means all the parts relate to the whole seamlessly. You see, and there's no effort in making things work. It just flows around, you see. So that was these creative ideas of Steve Jobs. And you notice if you read his books, or read about him, or any creative process, there is this period of painful dissonance. I know there's an idea there. I know there's a turning point. Where is it? I can't find it. Struggle, intellectual work. Can't sleep at night. Work, pacing. Finally, you've exhausted every possible strategy, every possible idea, every possible plan. And you go play golf. And somebody hits their ball, hits a tree. That's it. The idea comes in full bloom, a gestalt. Bam! And you know. And you either continue playing golf and go home and write it down, or you go running home right then and write it down. But the single idea, the rock candy, spontaneously is born on the string when the saturation of pain reaches a turning point. But that turning point, the creative idea, only comes when you relax the effort to make the rock candy happen. Because the rock creativity is a spontaneous act. Creativity is not caused by the past. Creativity does not fit into the laws of cause and effect, which is how we think the world operates, because of our materialistic, mechanistic worldview that has built so many successful machines. This is an important idea, that your creativity, your turning point, will not happen by your causing it, or by the world causing it, or by your religion causing it, or by your philosophy or your political party. Nothing can cause your turning point. Your turning point will happen when you finally give up trying to make it turn. And yet you don't turn away, you see. So you relax in the line, waiting for your turning point or the checkout, and you relax in your presence, and you just look around and say, isn't this an interesting place? I'm just here, alert and aware. And the next thing you know, you're through the line. Thanks for dropping in.